Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, episode number 41, the show where I give you my opinion on some of the biggest stories from the past week. Now, this is my opinion. If you want to learn more about these stories, in the show notes down below, I have links to each story I talk about today so you can learn more about them. First, before we get into the stories, the deal of the week this week is the Tablo DVR. It's an over-the-air DVR, perfect for your antenna, and it's on sale for $150. Comes with 64 gigabytes internal storage for recording, and you can connect an external hard drive for additional storage space. It's a great DVR, among many out there, but with this deal, it's even better. So check it out, link in the show notes down below. Hey, let's dive right into the stories this week. One of the biggest things that happened this week that may not have a big impact now, but going forward probably will, is that Comcast now has seats on the board of directors over at Hulu. Comcast bought NBC Universal quite a few years ago, which partially owned Hulu. One of the deals, though, the Department of Justice required for this deal to be approved was that Comcast had to agree to give up their board seats, their day-to-day control of Hulu, in order to get the deal approved. Now that regulation ended this week, and Comcast named 3 members of their executive team to the Hulu board. Now, this doesn't mean anything's going to change immediately. Comcast owns 30%, but so do Fox and Disney. And Disney is buying the Fox's 30% in a deal that looks like all but approved now that the Department of Justice has signed off on it. So would Comcast come in and change everything? Not likely. You could assume that maybe Fox and Disney were fighting. Comcast could throw their weight behind one or the other. But with Disney buying Fox, I wouldn't expect any massive changes. And that will give Hulu for the first time a majority owner. There is a 10% stake out there too. It was sold to Time Warner a while back, now owned by AT&T, but it's a non-voting block. So basically the Hulu board is split into thirds between Comcast, Hulu, and Comcast, Fox, and Disney, excuse me. And soon Disney will own 2/3 of the Hulu board. So would I expect anything big to change? No. I know a lot of people are concerned, like, oh, Hulu's going to be awful now. It takes time for these things to change, and I'm not really expecting anything to change right now because everybody knows Hulu will be a majority-owned Disney company very soon. So Comcast is probably going to bide their time with that. Comcast has also shown that they've been fairly happy with the direction of Hulu recently. They brought more content there, their back catalog, current shows, and they brought their local stations to Hulu's live TV service. So it would say that Comcast has been very happy with their service right now. Keep that in mind, but keep an eye on this story. What will Comcast do now that these regulations are dropping off of from the FC or the Department of Justice? I don't know. The Department of Justice did kind of give them a warning, like, hey, even though these regulations are ending, we're watching you. So I wouldn't expect much to happen there. Let me know. What do you think? Are you worried now that Comcast has board seats over at Hulu? Leave a comment. Let us know what you think. All right, next up, the most interesting story is that AT&T is looking for testers from their employees for a new set-top box. For now, it's for DIRECTV Now, but this is primarily probably going to be for DIRECTV satellite service. I'll explain in a moment. Now, we've known for some time that AT&T is working on an Android TV box. We got some more pictures, and we got an email that went out to AT&T employees recently looking for testers to test out the new Android TV box. This box is being advertised to AT&T employees as a device for DIRECTV Now. But we know that AT&T plans to release a streaming version of DIRECTV. Why? Well, it's very expensive to roll a truck to somebody's house, put a satellite dish on their house, put a satellite in space. Plus, you got to imagine every month some employee falls off a roof over at AT&T. Their workers' comp bill must be fairly high. Just with that many people across the country, you know what's happening. With this test, though, they will be able to say, hey, you just walk into Walmart, you buy this Android TV box, you come home, you plug it in the wall, connect to your internet, connect to your TV, and you got DIRECTV. It's rumored to have the same contracts, the same channel packages, everything will be the same as satellite. The difference will be the fact that you will now be able to stream it instead of having a satellite. Now, this is supported in this theory because if you look at the remote, it has the number pad. So the 1 through 0, you check in a channel number and you jump to it. But you say, look, why are they testing it with DIRECTV Now? The email clearly says DIRECTV Now box. Well, we know for some time now, since we switched over to this new version of DIRECTV Now after the beta ended, that this DirecTV streaming and DirecTV Now streaming happen from the same location. The back end of it is the same. AT&T Watch, same back end as DirecTV. Even the app on the AT&T Watch is the same as the DirecTV Now, just with a slightly different color palette, some minor graphical changes. But the back end, the servers, the core is the same. That's why we saw for a while a glitch where all these DirecTV stations that weren't on DirecTV Now showed up in DirecTV Now as not available, but sitting there in the app. And that's because the backends are now all the same. So testing on DirecTV Now is the same as testing it for the DirecTV satellite version. Now, one thing first is now this doesn't mean that there won't be a DirecTV Now version of this. It will make great sense. AT&T's lost a lot of money. Device rentals are a very profitable segment of DirecTV Now's business market. For them to also be able to say, hey, instead of selling you an Apple TV, sell you a particular device called the Osprey, code name, not probably going to be the launch name, and they can recoup some of that lost on the rental devices. Not all of it, but an upfront sale is better than nothing. My question to you is, would you buy this? With the contracts, is this really what people want? Now, AT&T is definitely playing the long game here. They're saying, hey, 10, 20 years from now, at some point, we're going to say no more satellites. With 5G rolling out, internet reaching more and more places, maybe in 15, 20 years, they'll be able to say, we're just not going to replace the satellites in space, dramatically cut their costs. We're not going to have to roll service trucks to people's homes, dramatically cut their cost. But does this interest you? Now, there is benefits here if you really want that DirecTV version streaming, but all reports say it will be the same cost. The savings are going to be held on the AT&T side, according to all reports. I don't know. What do you think of this? Let me know. Love to know what you think. If you want to see pictures of it, in the show notes down below, I have links. The remote looks really nice. Won't lie. That's a nice looking remote. They did a really great job with that. But I wonder how well they're going to stay out with this. With Roku being so dominant, Apple TV, Fire TV, and Android TV devices like NVIDIA Shield, why get this particularly locked down device? Let me know. Would you be interested? What would make you want to get this? Maybe if it's free, if you prepay for 6 months of DirecTV Now, maybe? I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know. I would love to hear from you. Hey, one of the things I really want to take a look at real quick is this argument of cord cutting costs more than cable. Now, I thought we had these kind of in the past, but this popped up again last week when USA Today released a video arguing that cord cutting costs more, or in their case, you wouldn't save money with cord cutting. It's an argument. And there's just no statistical surveys or studies that back this up. It's actually quite the opposite. Repeated studies have shown that on average, you're going to save between $85 and $115, depending on what survey you look at. Don't believe me? The Wall Street Journal says that on average, cord cutters save $104 a month, over $1,200 a year. That's pretty great savings. And that's not me, it's the Wall Street Journal. Clearly, USA Today didn't take a look at that. And this seems to be a common argument within cord cutting. I mean, props to the cable companies say, maybe we could convince people it's really not saving them money. Problem now, I think, is so many people are doing it that the word is out. And USA Today kind of had to walk this back. So this came out last week, and I received a flood of emails and social media posts about this. That, can you believe this story? I'm saving a ton of money, was kind of the gist of most of the messages I got. And USA Today must have been flooded with them too, because they released a retraction kinda yesterday, where they released a story that says, we heard you, basically, that our readers say it's saving money. Now, they kind of carefully walked a line there where they didn't really say it. They kind of said their readers are telling them they're saving money. Now, I will say, there is arguments to be said that cord cutting is not for everybody, but money isn't the main reason. I mean, there's always an argument that, hey, there's people who live in extremely rural areas where internet's not a great option. That's a better fighting tactic. You see Dish going after that. If you listen to Sirius XM, I often hear commercials on there now. Hey, live in a rural area, live out past where the cable lines end. I love that commercial. It's really great. It's a great selling point. They talk about, small town life is great, but, Dish is built for that. No need to have cable, no need to have fast internet. Dish will bring you the TV. Excellent marketing strategy there. And a legitimate argument to have Dish for that segment of America, which is bigger than you probably think it is. But for the vast majority, 90+% of Americans, cord cutting will save you money, give you the content you want. there is an argument to say that, like, hey, Comcast's user interface is so polished, so simple, so easy, that would probably be a far better argument. But them bashing their heads trying to convince you that it costs more to be a cord cutter, I would have to say is a losing game, and I'd love to know what you think. Do you think that these attempts to say that cord cutting costs more hurts them or helps them? I would have to say it shows how desperate they are when you hear these groups say, oh, you know, it costs more to be a cord cutter. Don't be a cord cutter. No. You're going to pay more if you're a cord cutter than you would with cable. I just think that so many people know now that that's not the truth, that it hurts the people making these arguments. And as you see with USA Today, they got flooded with social media messages being like, what the heck? That's just not true. So let me know. How much money do you save? I'd love to hear that. Leave me a comment, please. Let me know. $50, $100, $200? I've heard some people save over $200 with cord cutting. And do you think this is hurting cable companies or helping them in their arguments? I'm thinking it's hurting them, to be honest with you. But I would love to know what you think. All right, last story of the day, real quick diving into this. A new net neutrality law just passed in California, waiting for the governor's signature. We haven't heard if he's going to sign this or not. It's expected he would sign this. There is a catch to this bill, which has a lot of our readers and our comments kind of 50-50. And I thought it was very interested. Want to know what you think of this. The California net neutrality bill is very similar to the former FCC rule, which basically says you can't prioritize data, etc. But it also bans what's called zero rating, which is the practice. AT&T is probably best known for this. If you have AT&T Wireless and DIRECTV Now, your DIRECTV Now streaming on AT&T Wireless doesn't count towards your data cap. But if you had Sling TV with AT&T Wireless or Philo or all the other services, Hulu, it does count towards your data cap. This bill says you can't do that. You either have to say all video services are data cap or don't count towards your data cap, or none of them do. Effectively, AT&T can no longer give preference to their own DIRECTV Now service when it comes to metering towards data caps, which is something previous net neutrality bills haven't. It hasn't been really about the data caps. It's been about the speed of it getting to you. And it doesn't matter how fast you deliver it. If you're counting towards a data cap and not counting somebody else's service towards a data cap, then it's not legal according to this bill. If this is signed, it will take effect in December of 2018 in California. And often when bills like this happen, it kind of has effect in other states. Either AT&T has to do a lot of work to make sure that people living or visiting in California aren't affected by their metering system here, or they just say no one is. Or maybe they eliminate data caps in California altogether and just have unmetered data there. There's a lot to happen there. Look for them to sue. Look for them to challenge this in court. AT&T probably won't be alone. Other services will probably also challenge this law because other people do this too. AT&T is just kind of best known in cord cutting. But what do you think? Should this be included in that neutrality bill or not? Some people say, hey, I have AT&T Wireless, I have DIRECTV Now. I love it because it benefits you. But other people say, well, DIRECTV Now is not good for me. I want AT&T Wireless and I want to have my Sling or my Philo or whatever as a good fit there. Let me know what you think. I would love to have your opinions on this. And I'm not sure where I fall on this. Is it really, there's a legitimate argument I saw. I want to bring this, and I want your opinion, not my opinion here, but I want to bring these arguments to your table. One side says the federal government should protect the open market by saying AT&T, since there's not a ton of competition, you can't be favoring your service over another. Other people say, hey, competition's coming with 5G. We really don't want the federal government telling companies what they can and cannot do with the services they own. Where do you fall on this? Are you okay with this? Or do you think this is a bad idea? Leave me a comment, let me know. I'm going to stay neutral on this. I want to see what you think because I was really shocked by how 50-50 the comments on our social media and on the story were about this topic. So, fingers crossed, it could be an interesting conversation. Just be polite and friendly, and let's have fun with it. All right, everybody, I hope you had a great week. I hope you enjoyed your holiday that we just had recently as we get into fall coming up here. We'll be back next Saturday right here. But if you're new, hit that subscriber button, hit that thumbs up. It really does help me. Next week, I will be right here again. And on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're live on YouTube answering your cord cutting related questions. If you've never been to our website, cordcuttersnews.com, we post 6 or more stories a day on average, sometimes 10 or more when it gets really crazy. But there's all kinds of news over there that never makes it to this YouTube channel. So I highly recommend you check out corecarsnews.com. Links in the show notes. Hey, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll see you next week.